Your magic doesn't scale, your method does. Hey there, I'm Starlight. I help experts, consultants, and leaders escape the messy middle with solutions that scale, all built around their best work. Today, I'm sharing the Framework First method with you. This is the first step to scaling that will help take the results that you're known for and build a scalable model around it. We are going to dig right in and do this. If it's all right with you, I'm going to talk fast. Occasionally, my dog may snore on the audio. I'm going to give you my absolute best guidance. And I've worked ahead a little bit in the workbook so that I can show you more of how to get ahead using this model without you needing to wait for me to fill in the workbook as an example for you. I want you to feel like you come to this training in full on extraction mode. Like, get the most that you absolutely can out of this. Take notes, pause the video, do the exercises for yourself using the examples, think it through, really allow yourself to be a little bit divergent in your thinking and kind of step out and think some new stuff as you're doing this exercise. And I promise you that if you do, this work will help you transform your thinking and put you on the path to a truly transformative, scalable, and impactful business that delivers best in class results. I have provided a workbook where you can do the exercise with me. Wherever you're seeing this video, I'm sure there is a link or a button or a something that will tell you where to get it if you're not seeing this video inside the workbook itself. Okay? Alrighty. Let's dig in. So, uh, here's the deal. How do you know if this is actually the right step for you? If it really is time for you to focus on creating your signature framework so that you can scale. First of all, the first sign is you're probably already at capacity. You got all these balls in the air. There's a lot of things that you're keeping track of. Your team is probably maxed out. The truth is that those systems or that experience and symptom exists because you're missing a core and repeatable framework that makes that whole ecosystem easier. Now, once you set up a signature framework, this is what we start looking at. We start talking about breathing room for new ideas. Listen, the person that you were 5 years ago, the business that you were running 5 years ago, the business that you were running 10 years ago, everything about life is different. You're different, your customers are different, technology ages in dog years. The truth is I know you have clever and amazing ideas or things that you want to take next step on or priorities that you want to make room for. You can't because everybody's kind of already at capacity. If that's something you're struggling with, stay tuned. You're going to love this training because it sets you on the path to having a signature formula. The second reason I know you need a signature formula is because if you're trapped in any sort of launch cycle, whether it's a recurring discount that happens over time that you discount stuff and that's really when you focus on selling it, or whether you actively open and close launches in a specific cycle, or you've got a lot of different products and you're launching different ones on each month. Listen, if you're trapped in launch cycles to grow, you are ready for a signature framework because with a signature framework in place, you can actually experience some growth without grind. Launches are fantastic when you're at early stages of your business and you need to make big leaps forward. But there comes a point where the energetic cost of continually needing to run launches to sustain your business, the juice isn't worth the squeeze. It's just another symptom that it's really time for you to focus on a signature formula, which is why we're here. So let's keep going. Okay. Next, another symptom that I often see that people are struggling with that indicates it's time for a signature framework is that they are overwhelmed in complex systems. You start out with a sales funnel and then a thing and then an email list and all of a sudden a course and there's all these technical pieces that individually do what they need to do but aren't playing well together, right? And so then it requires all of this energy to keep things in order and keep the balls juggling and keep the systems going. All the while there's this sneaking suspicion that maybe your members list isn't 100% accurate, right? Boo, we want to get the hell out of this. The easiest way to begin solving this is to build your signature framework because it helps us understand exactly what we need to systemize in order to get results. And it allows us to exclude everything that doesn't contribute in that regard. The rest is just beeps and boops and moving stuff around. Once you have a signature formula, it's so much easier because you see these elegant and resilient systems. When I mean resilient, I mean if I flooded your business with 200 customers tomorrow, would everything stay afloat, right? Would everything go the way that it needed to? If your only offer is one-on-one work, 200 new customers would tank your business, right? And so that idea of resilience is not just, is it resilient to stresses that come along from business in general, but is it resilient to big steps in growth? Because if we get you systems that are, you can start taking some really big swings. Underneath all of this, I know that the people who are struggling with the messy middle at this stage, who really truly do need a signature formula, they're often like quietly worried that they're leaving money on the table. There's just this quiet concern that, like, man, I feel like I'm doing so much. Seems like we should be getting better results. A signature formula helps understand that, and it helps transform that into you being able to take big swings with confidence. This means the ideas that you've been thinking about, maybe you're somebody who wants to start a series of retreats. Maybe you're somebody who's ready to publish your book on your expertise and do the publicity circuit. Maybe you're somebody who's ready to get your business ready for licensing or certifications. Like big swings, sponsorship, partnership level, going to there. What a big swing means for each of you is unique and individual to you specifically, but it's really tough to take big swings when our systems are kind of murky behind the scenes, right? So there's 3 common misconceptions that I want to move out of the way before we dig into exactly how to begin your signature formula, right? The first is scale does not actually have to mean adding more. More is not necessarily better. We learned that in the messy middle stage, where we've done more, 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 and more, and now we've got lots of options. It's creating a bit of chaos. So where do we start? We focus on the more of what is working. It's time to take a measured look at the systems and offers and results that you are getting and drive the stuff that is doing the heavy lifting and move that to the front, systemize that, make that easy as pie to handle. I freaking love, every time I see this slide, I just want to take a massive bite. So if you're concerned because you already feel overwhelmed and your team is at capacity, that scale actually means adding more to your plate, it doesn't. It just means that we're going to hone in and really refine and focus in and prioritize specifically what we know is getting results for you, right? The second mindset that stands in the way of your ability to scale is thinking that growth equals more launches. Often when people who are doing a lot of launches or have a discount-driven growth mechanism, they look at the calendar year and go, there's only so many launches we can squeeze into an email list, right? And you're right, it caps. The answer to growth is not actually more launches. It's about building systems that get repeatable results, that get results repeatably and consistently in a way that do not require launching. And there are some really great options out there because you're at a business stage where you can leverage systems based on what you've proven and what you've already gotten done, right? It's about really honing in on the things that's working well, doing more of it, and making it happen more often. And then there's often a little bit of confusion around the word framework. Some people think of framework as like marketing hype, like here's my unique mechanism. Not in this particular case. Let's use the example of my business, for example. My business name is Bottled Lightning, and it's because I have the ability to capture in a bottle what feels like is something where lightning can never strike twice. Yeah, so the idea that I can capture a lightning strike and get those results over and over and over again in small little doses wherever I need it, that's my signature formula. That's your signature formula. Your formula is how we figure out what exactly goes in that bottle so that you can get results over and over and over again. When I talk about a signature formula, I'm really talking about delivery engine, right? How you deliver transformation at scale and the engine that makes it happen over and over again. So, what does this really mean? It means that you have to shift how you're thinking, and you have to come at this from a new angle. It means that we're starting your thinking by focusing on the change first. Well, let me get serious while I tell you this. So here's the deal. I often equate creators, experts, thought leaders with winemakers, because winemakers, if you start asking a winemaker to tell you about the wine that they're making, they are going to tell you absolutely everything. The terroir, the whether they had this year, the type of barrels that they used, all these details that go into the process of them making this amazing wine. If you're just a regular wine consumer and you were just looking for a little bit of like interesting conversation, having a winemaker launch into their whole winemaker thing can be a little bit overwhelming. In this particular case, this exercise is designed to get you from talking about your wine from inside the bottle to the information outside the bottle that makes someone read it and go, oh, hell yeah, that's for me. Okay. So, in order to achieve this, you have to change how you approach this next exercise and focus on the change that you're delivering to your audience. And then we're going to formulate that first. So, I'm asking you to trust me as I take your hands through the next few steps of this workbook. Let's dig right in. Your customer is on a journey of change, right? There's a point at which they realized and committed to making that change. And then there are results and outcomes that they are working towards. What you know, probably from your experience in working with customers, is that there are customers who are going to crush it in the game. They're going to follow instructions. They're going to do exactly what they need to do, and they're going to get amazing results. And then there are customers who, for whatever reason, they're not going to do so great. They're going to fall off the bridge, so to speak, and not get results. They might even circle a few times before they do hit the green line, right? Your job in beginning to identify where transformation comes from is seeing if we can identify the levers of change that make the difference between somebody ending up on the green track or somebody ending up on the red track, right? So we're going to do that in 4 steps. First, we're going to articulate the change that people go through. By articulate the change, I mean, we have a before state and we have an after state, right? That gets your little dude from this side to the promised land on the other side. So the first step we're going to do is articulate the difference in those changes, the before state and the after state. The next stage, we are going to remove the obstacles that stand in the way. We're going to identify exactly what obstacles make the difference between them getting on the green line or ending up on the red line. And then we are going to use this information to map your triangle, your transformation triangle that basically answers the question, how do we get sweet little dude from this side of the bridge to the other side of the bridge while making the obstacles less and less relevant? And then I'm going to show you a really effortless way to explain explain this method as you go through it for yourselves. Okay? So let's talk it out. And again, forgive me, this is going to be a little meta because I'm not only just talking you through the triangle method, I'm showing you how to do it. I'm using my example and I'm running the script that you will start to recognize and hear in the background. So let's start with the cliffs of change. On one side, we've got the before states or the boo states. I write them in red, like, right? Red means stop, I guess, in this case. And then on the other side, I'm going to write the yay state. Now, I'm going to be really clear with you. I need to focus on language that my customers have said. I need to use the same thinking and feeling that they've been thinking and feeling. This is not about me and what I guess. This is very much what they're saying their problem is, both internally and externally. These are the things that they might be thinking, the things that they're afraid of, the things that they desire, maybe even the things they're scared to even hope for themselves, right? And then on the other side, there is the tangible results. And that language is what I know the results are after somebody trusts me to take them across this bridge, right? Take my hand. I can help you get rid of all these blue states. Come with me across this bridge. I know the way. And if you do, I can help you get these positive outcomes over here, right? Perfect. Pause. Now is a great time to pause and do the before states in your workbook and the after states. Again, look for tangible, internal, external language that your customer uses. And feel free to go divergent right now. Make this list really, really big if you need to. The more the merrier, right? And let me also say for some of you woo-woo people, stay away from the words like empowered or embodied or right, like use words that this person is using to describe how their life has changed, not the language that you use to encourage them to make that change. Okay. Once you have this in place, your next step is going to be to identify the obstacles that stand in their way. What are the things most likely to knock them off the bridge? I'm just firing off things that I know stand in the way between my sweet little dude and his promised outcome. He may not and probably does not know this. This is where my expertise comes in handy. I know that people who are here, who want to get here, usually have to do some form of overcoming the obstacles that they're most accustomed with, right? Once you have these 3 lists marked out, the next step is going to be highlight the top 3, the ones that your customers complain about the most, that you hear the most, that you know applies to them most broadly. We're not designing for the least common denominator right now. We're designing for the stuff that we know gets results. So these are the top three things standing in their way. With that language mapped out, we're going to get even more crispy and specific with it and refine it a bit. We're going to hone in on the top 3 most common pain points. We're going to focus on the top 3 most valuable outcomes. Obviously, more money, less effort. Everybody wants that. They want the space to be able to take big swings. They want to be feeling inspired and impactful. You can start to see that the most valuable outcomes in a way are very much the opposite of the pain. And then we're going to pick the 3 biggest obstacles that are keeping them getting from here to here. And then the next question is, and this is where you might want to brainstorm and add some ideas before you refine your final version, but how do I then solve for this obstacle? What would I suggest that we put in place to change their situation and making sure that they actually can blast through these obstacles? We're going to continue refining this as we move forward. But what you do here at this point between this stage and the next one is get very clear on what has emerged from the cliffs of change and what we're taking as levers of change into the next model. So once you've sketched this out, we jump to the transformation triangle. The transformation triangle is dope. I know that his eyes are like a little sleepy right now. Usually it's nice to have it all the way around, but I don't like having to reorient the text to the triangle angles all the time. So I left it horizontal, but you get the idea. So this next part is going to be just follow the leader, okay? I told you about the 3 biggest pain points. I want you to put the 3 biggest pain points in your triangle model on the top line. Stagnant results, burnout, system overwhelm. Those are my customers' top 3 pain points. Underneath that, I want you to put the desired outcomes that are closest, right? You can see this is more or less the opposite. Burned out, now they're feeling inspired and creative. Stagnant results, now they're getting renewed momentum. System overwhelm, elegant and resilient systems, right? Okay. Biggest pain point? Most valuable outcomes. Now I want you to go through and I want you to note your 3 solutions that make them go from this state to this state. Like what you know they need. This isn't your solutions like your product and your idea. No. It's that you know what they need to go from being this state to this state. In my case, I know that people who are burned out, who want to become inspired and creative again and have room to do that in their work, need clarity about the transformations that they're delivering. As soon as you start to show somebody what level of impact that they have, they get way more excited about it and find opportunities to prioritize that work. But You see, now I've done the same thing for each of these. How does somebody go from stagnant results to experiencing renewed momentum and growth? They've they've set up some repeatable formulas. How does somebody go from feeling overwhelmed by their systems to feeling like they have elegant and resilient systems? We've got to break them free from the bottleneck. Now, if somebody comes and works with me and does those three things, I know that they will achieve, and this is where you do this for yourself, scale with ease, right? You're struggling from these problems. You would rather have these outcomes. Here's the three things standing in your way that you need to change. If you change those three things, these are the results that you will achieve. So far, so good on that script, right? It's weird doing this already pre-written, but I'm also glad I'm not like having to type all this out long and slow for you to see it. But it's really powerful when you're saying it to your customers and you're typing it out step by step because it gives them time to absorb the model and think it through. Okay, I've given now my triangle of transformation a name, right? An outcome, scale with ease, amazing. Naturally, somebody's next question in this process is going to be, well, how do I get clear transformations? And, well, repeatable formula free, how do I do it? I'm so glad you asked. This is where we break down my blueprint for scale with ease. First, we start with clear transformations. There's two pieces to this. You may have two per side of the triangle, or you may have three, not more than three. Keep it in that 6 to 9 number. You'll see here, one of the very first steps is the transformation triangle. Oh my God, how meta. The transformation triangle is actually connected to this side of scaling with ease, which is very much about the customer-centric aspect of it. Transformation triangle is about honing in on the customer transformation, building it into our offers, and building it into the customer experience. And then on the other side, we have the actual signature formula that emerges from the understanding that we have with the transformation triangle. And with the signature formula in place, it's so much easier to help them get free from bottlenecks because we can hone in on how they're capturing and disseminating the content that they're creating and put some systems around that. And we can put some systems around delivery and operations because we're clear on what the signature formula is, because we've honed in on the most important transformations that our customers are getting, and we've built our offers around it, and we've built our customer experience around it. Now, I zoomed through this, but you're seeing how this list of information that came from my understanding of my customers and having insights as to what's troubling them, I've built a model where their solutions, their desires, and their outcomes are front and center to the whole thing. And then I've told them using my existing expertise how I'm going to help them achieve those results. You feel me? And mind you, I haven't said anything about the sort of offer it is. Is it a group program? Is it a one-on-one? It doesn't matter, because by this point in time, then it's just a matter of qualifying them for the offer, right? You know that this is right when you talk it through and draw it with your customers at the same time, and they nod like this the entire time, right? When you get to this point where you've laid out your blueprint of how they get those results and what those results will get them as a whole, if it's good, if they love it, they're going to ask you the next most important question, which is how much is it and when do we get started, right? Your job is to map this out for yourself and follow these instructions and create your version of your triangle model. Once you have this, the next step, as we mentioned, make it effortless to explain. And effortless to explain means that there's a solution script where we talk through it. This is where you take the pieces that have been assembled in this process and talk through the script for yourself. Are you feeling and living the top 3 problems? Would you rather have the top 3 outcomes instead? There are 3 things we've found in the way that stand between you and the outcomes that you want. Obstacle 1, obstacle 2, and obstacle 3. Now, if you decide to work with us, this is how we start to solve those obstacles. Our first goal is to turn obstacle 1 into solution 1. And this sets you up for desired outcome, et cetera, through the other 3 things. When we solve these 3 core obstacles, our customers achieve the core goal that's in the center of the triangle. Does this sound like it would work with you? Here's how we do it. Break down the proprietary steps on the outer ring of your blueprint. Honestly, the level of cracking open how you view your offers to put it into a model where the transformation is focused on your customers first and then your blueprint to make it happen is the first step that sets you on the path to creating a genuinely scalable business where your efforts are focused on what gets results first and foremost. And it's how you scale one to many while maintaining the caliber of results that you're accustomed to getting. So I just showed you in the workbook how we make this work through those 4 steps. I'm going to recap them real quick so you can see how they come together. Articulate the change. We do this using the cliffs of change, right? Going from state A to state B. Then we focus on removing the obstacles. We make a list of what all of those obstacles are, and we pick the 3 biggest ones that make the biggest difference. And we line those things up. And then we model your triangle method so that you can see what that experience looks like and see if there's a balance in all the pieces. At that stage, you add in your blueprint and your understanding of how to help your avatar achieve those results. And once you have that in place, you run through the script, testing it to make sure that it's effortless for you to explain. Sketch it, talk it through with your audience a little bit, and you will quickly see if you've landed on your specific transformative model. Let's talk next steps. Do this triangle method for yourself. When you do, let me know in any form, fashion, email, DM, however you like. I'll send you the right thing. If you let me know that you've done your triangle method, I will invite you to a private group in the Scale Lab where we're working together on our triangle methods. And you can bring yours, you can talk it through, and you can get feedback and review. Complimentary is a gift to me. You just need to let me know that you're ready to come and talk about your triangle model. Thank you so much for watching this video. This is my passion and delight to be able to help people understand how they make change in the world and then turn it into something they can do at scale. If you want to get in touch with me, my business is bottledlightning.co. I'm sure wherever you're watching this video, there's more options for you to get in touch. Thank you for your time and attention, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Ciao.